Now you can start recording. What day will they sell the same amount? And then, how many will be sold each day? Okay. If you have a graphing calculator, what are you going to do? Graph it, change your window. You're going to have to change your window probably. Find the points of intersection, trace those points of intersection, and do it. If you got a graphing calculator, do that right now. If you don't have a graphing calculator, do it with me, because I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to do it the old school way, because I don't have a graphing calculator up here with me. Okay? So I'm going to write negative parenthesis, negative 4x plus 160 squared plus 15 times negative 4x plus 160 plus 100.
Tom, you gotta say they equal to each other.
Ah, I'm such a dork. Thank you. Sorry, I did that wrong. You gotta set them equal to each other. Negative x squared plus 15x plus 100. It's because I don't do this at all. So equals negative 4x plus 160. There you go. That's when they're equal to each other. Okay, now I want to bring everything to where the x squared is going to be what? Positive. So I'm bringing it over to this side. X squared. Subtracting 15x, adding x squared. I want the x squared to be positive, so I can use quadratic formula if I need to. Minus 15x, that's negative 19x. Subtract 100, that's plus 60 equals 0. Everybody with me so far? Okay, now, what times is to be 60 and adds to be 19? This might be easy. What times to be 60 and adds to be 19? 6 and 10? Nope. But what else? 12 and 5. Is that 19? Nope. Wait, did I do the 19 right? Minus 4, minus 5. Yeah, that's right. Nope, that isn't it. How about 3 and something? 3 goes into it how many times? Ah, that's not going to work. I've got to use quadratic formula?
No, 15 and 4.
15 and 4, there we go. 15 and 4, hey, those times to be what? 60 and add to be what? 19, those are the ones I want to use. So I'm going to factor it. X and X, 15 and 4. It's a sum, signs are the same, they're both negative, equals 0. My answers will be X is 15 and X is what? 4. What do those represent? What does the 15 and the 4 represent? The days where the price will be what? The same. If you think about a graph, the days would go here, and the amount of money that you're going to, or sorry, the number sold would go here. Okay, so time is almost always the x-axis. Okay, so at days 4 and 15, they're going to sell the same amount. How much will be sold on each day? Now I just plug in what? 4 and 15. Which equation do I want to plug it into? The smaller one is always easier. Plug in the 4 there, negative 16 plus 160. That's going to give you what? What's 160 minus 16? Somebody help me out.
140.
144. So on that day, they sold how many? So on day 4, they're going to sell what? Day 4, they will sell 144 computers each, or whatever this is, right? 144 computers each. Okay, on day 15, plug in the 15. 15 times 4 is what? 15 times 4, negative 60 plus 160 is going to be what? They're going to sell 100 computers. So each of them will sell 100 computers on that day, on day 15. Okay? So those are the 2 days they'll sell the same amount. Make sure you set them what? Equal, and don't plug it in. That's where you mess up. That's how I mess up. I always mess up that way, yeah. So just set them equal. Get it on one side. Factor if you can. If you can't, you got to use quadratic what? Formula. Solve for x. That's the number of days. How many they sell is the number that is the y value. If you have a graphing calculator, you can just graph it, find those points of intersection, and you're good. Okay, those points of intersection are going to give you an x value of 15 and 4, and it'll give you a y-intercept of 44 and 144 and 100. Those will be your points. Yes.
Keep getting something different in the graph.
Then you're not putting in the graph, right?
Yeah, same. I think yours is one doesn't just work.
That's why I just go to the table.
Y
I don't look at the
equals
graph. I just look
negative
at
x squared plus 15x plus 100,
if it's the same number.
negative 4x
So if you press,
plus
yeah, I'm still clicking.
160. Let's go to the window, graph. No. On the window. On the window then, you guys, by the way, where's it going to cross? Well, obviously not in the negative, so I'm going to put negative 1. But it will cross clear out at what? Clear out at, what is it, 15 at least? So I'm going to go out to 20 for my x max. My y min is fine at negative 5 or whatever. But it's going to go way above 144, so I'm going to put in maybe 200 for my y max, and then I'm going to hit graph. And now it'll come down. Now there's 2 spots that it crosses. You've got to find both those points. So I
See, that's why I
calculate,
just use the table
the
for everything. It's so much
intersection.
easier.
go near the intersection on the left, hit enter, make a guess. It tells me it's 144. Hit calculate, intersection on the right, go near the intersection on the right, all the way around. I'm just hitting my over arrow. Hit your over arrow until you're near the intersection. Hit enter. That's using those 2 lines. Tell me what that intersection is. And it's 15 what? 100, which is what I got. You gotta figure it out. You gotta just think about it. You gotta think about
I've been
where
doing this the whole time.
your graph was. You started reading window, right?
Yeah, I do.
But you saw you only had one intersection. So you had to go further to the what? Right. Right. The other. So you just have to guess. It's just kind of a guess. So you just have to guess how far to do your window. So that's the problem with using your calculator is what? How far to do your window, right? If you don't see 2 intersection points in your window, you've got to start changing your window. By the way, you know it's got to be at least bigger than what? 160. So here's some little hints for windows, by the way. These are your y-intercepts. Your highest one, obviously, has to be, you got to go bigger than that. So I'm going to go bigger than 160. That's how I knew my y max was going to be what? 200, right? My y max, I'm probably going to put at 200 there. The days that we're going to have, now I didn't do all this before you did on your graphing calculator. I just have to kind of guess. I probably would have guessed 10, honestly. I probably just would have left the window alone. And then when I noticed that, hey, I wasn't getting out far enough, then I would have changed it to 20. At 20, I would have been fine. So my x max would have to change to 20, because that's where it's going to cross at 15. Okay? All right, that's question 21 is a story problem like this. 20 is just a regular problem like this. Like it doesn't give it as a story. But is it that much different? No. So 20 and 21 are like this. Okay? Here we go. 18 and 19 are like the following. Okay? Make sure that you're either doing it by month or by year, depending on whatever it asks. Okay? By month or by year, depending on whatever it asks. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, you're going to buy 2 trucks. Okay, there's 2 trucks we're going to compare here. Okay? The first truck has an initial value of $15,000. And the second truck has an initial value of $18,000. Okay? The first truck is losing 14% of its value every year.
Tom, how does you put 4 zeros on 18?
Huh?
Look at 18.
Oh, sorry.
180.
Sorry. So the truck that's $18,000 is losing, let's see here, 18% every year. Okay? Here's the questions. Write functions that represent the value in dollars of the trucks after T years. Then graph the functions in a coordinate plane. Okay? That's the first step. Okay? What's my equation? What equation am I using that we've learned? This is our exponential equation. What am I using?
P 1 plus R.
You're getting there. Okay. So what do I got? A sub what? T, that's the amount over time, is equal to what? The initial value P, 1 plus or minus a rate raised to the what? T. That's what you're doing. Okay? Okay? So, that's the equation you need to have in your notes to do these two. Okay? Both 18 and what? 19. Make sure you have that in your notes. Okay, now, let's write an equation for the first truck. Truck 1. Okay? So, I'm going to put T1 here. I shouldn't use T though, huh? Let's go F for first. Okay, first truck. And we're going to do S for second truck. Okay? Because I don't want to use T twice, you know what I mean? So I'm doing F for first, S for second. Okay, first truck. What am I going to say? The first truck's value over time will equal what? 15,000. And then I'm going to go 1 what? This is important. Minus 0.14 in that parenthesis. 1 minus 0.14. That's going to give you actually what? 0.8 what?
86.
6. Because it's only worth 86% of what it was worth the year before. Are you with me? So that's why it's 0.86. People kind of have a hard time with that. But realize it's not worth 100% of what it was worth. It's only worth what? 86% of what it was worth. Every year, it's only worth 86% of the previous year. So that's why we're doing it over the time in years. So that's the equation. S of t, you guys tell me, what's it going to be?
18,000
18,000
times 0.82.
0.82, how'd you get it?
1 minus 0.18.
1 minus 0.18
Over
raised to the
plus
what?
the T.
T. Okay. Now it wants me to graph these. Okay, it wants me to graph these. Okay, so I'm going to make a little graph here. Time is going to be measured in what? Years. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'll go like that. Okay. And then I need to know where my values are on my y-axis. Okay. So what's the first value you want to plug in for t on both of those? Now, by the way, what could you do if you have a graphing calculator?
Just plug it into your y.
Graph this as y1 and graph this as y2. Plug it into your graphing calculator. Now, I'm going to have to skip some. By the way, this is what you mean when I put a little squiggly there. That means I'm what? Skipping, right? To find out where these values are. What is your zero value? When you plug in 0 for t, what's that going to give you? It's going to give you 15,000 and what? 18,000. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to start counting by at 10,000. So there's 10,000. There's 11. There's 12. I'm just counting by thousands. Everybody with me? 13,000, 14,000, and what? 15,000. So realize I'm counting by thousands. And you'll see graphs this way that say, hey, we're counting by thousands here. Okay? All right. So the at year 0, how much is the truck worth when you originally buy it?
18,000.
One of them is 15 and one of them is what?
18.
15, 16, 17, 18. So there's the 18. Let me get another marker here. And I'll do the other one in black for the 15. Okay, now what? After year 1. Okay, so some of you do. Now, by the way, if you don't have a graphing calculator, you can still do this. You just got to do it slowly, right? You got to plug in 1. You got to plug in 1. You got to plug in 2. You got to plug in 2. You got to plug in 3. You got to plug in 3. If you have a graphing calculator, once they're graphed, you just simply trace and hit 1, and then trace and hit what? 2, and then just hit your up and down arrow, and it'll tell you both of them. So when you hit trace 1, what did you get? Or you can plug in 1. Put it into your calculator right now and just put in 1. What'd you get for the one that was 15,000? How much was it worth after a year? By the way, you got to change your window to what? 20,000, right? You got to change your window to 20,000 and probably go down to what? The min probably, you could probably put like 5,000, okay? Put a min of 5,000, so max, min. And then you want to do years, you probably want to go out probably about -1 is your min, and then on your years probably out to like 15, 20, something like that, okay? Okay, what did we get then at 1 year? What's the value of the $15,000 truck at year 1?
12900.
Nope. 15,000 times 0.86, that's all it is. 15,000 times 0.86, because 0.86 is to the first. So do that on your calculator. What's 15,000 times 0.86? Or if you have a graphing calculator, just hit 1 and hit trace.
Yeah, that's what
And
it
it
says
should be
for
right
one.
here. What is it? Oh, it is
That's
12,900.
what I
Wow,
was
I'm
saying.
surprised it's that low. That's losing value really quick. So 12,900, so that's what I want to mark on my graph, right?
Yes.
And then what about my year 1 for the one that's 18,000?
14760.
147.60, so it's down here. So I want to do my purple here. Oh, I should have done my black. Sorry, I got to do my black. Okay, there's my black, there's my purple. Okay, year 2. By the way, which one's falling quicker?
The
You can see that already.
18,000.
The 18,000 is falling quicker, right?
Yeah.
Okay, year 2, how much is the $18,000 one worth?
11094.
11,094. So year 2, it's right there. 11,094. How about year 2 for the first truck?
12103.2.
1,200? They crossed?
12,103.
For year 2 of the $15,000 one?
Oh, no, the year 2 of the 15 is 11.
Tell me year 2 of the 15,000.
11094.
11, oh, so this one's down here at 11. Okay,
Sorry.
year 2
I was
at
reading
11.
the wrong one.
Okay, and year 2 on the other one, we're at what?
12103.2.
12,000 something?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's right there. So are they getting closer?
Mm-hmm.
Do we expect them to be getting closer? Yeah, they're gonna go like this. And then this one's gonna go like this. I don't have to be precise, but I am gonna have to know that, which is where they what? Cross. By the way, how could you solve it if you didn't have a graphing calculator? Set them what?
Equal.
Equal. But then you have to solve for t, and it's gonna use logarithms. You don't wanna do that. Trust me, you wanna graph it. You wanna graph it out until you figure it out. Yes?
They're coming up just as straight lines.
Yeah.
They are gonna look kind of like straight lines.
No, they're not changing at all.
Yeah.
No, they are.
I don't think.
Yes. They're gonna change, but they'll look like straight lines because you got so much in the thousands here. So make sure you're doing from 20,000 to what? To about, I don't know, 5,000. Okay? And make sure these are going from 1 to 20. And it should just gently slope towards each other. Okay? Or you can do a T-chart and try and figure out where they actually meet. Okay? But it's easier just to graph it and then find the point of what? Intersection. Okay? So here's the question. So that was the first question. Graphed, we're good. Just kind of guessing, right? Question B. When will the trucks be worth the same amount? How much time will pass? What'd you get? How much time will pass? Now, you know it's more than 2, but less than what? 3. When you do 3, what do you get? What do you get at 3? On both of these. Tell me what the purple one does at 3. Put in 3 right here. Somebody tell me.
On which one? The
On
18,000?
S of T.
9924.
9924. You tell me what the F of T does at 3.
9540.
So have they crossed?
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, this is, which one is this?
This
is F of T.
15, yeah.
Okay. And this is what? S of T. I don't think they have crossed yet.
No,
have
they haven't.
They haven't crossed yet. So let's try year 4.
They cross at 4, yeah.
Okay, let's see at year 4 what we have. What's S of 4 then?
The 18, it's 8138.
813 what?
8.
8. And F of 4 is?
8205.
8205. Now they have crossed because now F of 4 is bigger, right? So it's 3 point something. Now, you could just sit there and guess and check until you get close, right? But if you have a graphing calculator, you can just trace it and find where that crosses. What'd you guys get to have the graphing calculator and have your intersection point? 3 point what?
Mine's being weird and it won't tell me.
Anyone got it on your graphing calculator? Where did they cross? Just hit intersection. Is that what you got? Whoa, no, that's not right. Oh, there we go. 3.82. So yeah, my guess of 3.8 wasn't a bad guess. And if you want to put it in, that's close enough. You know what I mean? 3.82 is really where you're going to be years. And that's my answer. So not quite 4 years, they'll be the same what? Amount. Now it says, which laptop is worth more? Oh, sorry, on the test it says laptop. Which truck is worth more after 5 years? Which truck is going to be worth more after 5 years? They're going to cross here at 3.1. Which one's going to be worth more? Actually, the one that was
First
what?
one.
The first one, the $15,000 one. So F of T is worth more after 5 years. Okay? Because they crossed prior to what? 5 years. Okay? So those are the type of questions that are going to be asked on that one. Let's do 19, just so you got a hang of doing this. Okay? 19 is a little easier, by the way, because it only has one equation instead of what? 2. So one of them has 2 equations. The other one only has 1. Okay? Here's this one. Okay? You have oh, that's pretty cool. We'll do this one, just for funsies. All right.
Are we doing the same one as the?
No, this is just kind of an interesting one that I'm making up off the fly, but it'll be kind of cool. All right. In the state of Utah, 500 people have COVID. Okay? In the state of Utah, 500 people have COVID. It seems to be increasing by 2.3% every month. Okay. Now, the thing with COVID is you got to remember, it's going to take some big trajectories, but then it'll do what? Level out. It doesn't really follow this, but let's say it did. Okay, let's say it followed this type of exponential growth. The key here is this is every what? Month. Okay. This is what it asks. Okay. Write an exponential growth model that represents the number of cases of COVID after T months. After T months. Okay? So now I want to let my time be in what? Months. So just remember that.
So,
So
is this
it's
like
still
the
easy. It's
compounded
500 what? Parenthesis what? 1.023. That's where the mistake's going to be made, is you're going to put 1.23. I don't know why you guys do that, but that's like 23%. Remember, if it's 2.3%, you got to write 1.023. Okay, got it? Raised to the what?
T.
T as in months, though. You might want to write an M for months there, just so you know. Okay, that's measured in months. Okay? Okay? After 9 months, how many cases would you expect if it continues at this growth rate? After 9 months, how many cases of COVID would you expect? After 9 months, what do? Just plug in what?
Y, yeah.
So this
Or
is ace of T, or ace of M. I'm going to plug in 9 for M. Okay, just put a 9 in there.
We just plugged
And
in
what'd
the
you get?
calculator. 613. 14 if you round it, but
613 point what?
5.
Actually, you'd probably say right at that moment, there's only 601.
13.
13. There's a guy that's got it and doesn't know it yet. so we'd say 613 cases, okay? Next question. In a year and a half, how many cases would there be if it continues at this growth rate? In a year and a half, how many cases will we have had if it continues at this growth rate?
700.
In a year and a half, what do I have to do for months?
18 months.
Yeah, that's the key, is you got to convert the year and a half to what? Months. A lot of kids are going to put on the test, they're going to put 1.5 for what? For that M.
Yeah.
But it's not 1.5 months, it's 1.5 what? Years. So at 1.5 years, that's actually 18 months. Remember, on the test, it's going to say 1.5 years. but that has to be converted to months. That's why I'm doing ace of 18. So I do ace of 18, just put in 18 for M. What do I get?
752.93.
So I might actually round that one up. 750 what? 3. And by the way, you can do this little squiggly. What does that mean? Approximately, right. We're going to have about 753 cases in the state of Utah if it continues at that growth rate. Okay, for COVID cases. All right. That's 19. So is 19 easier than 18? Yeah, 18 is like this, where you have two things going on at the same time. This is the same thing, it's just that there's only what? One. Could you graph that and then just plug in 18 and plug in 9? Yeah, you could still use your graphing calculator on that. You'd have to change your window so that, you gotta get used to changing your window. Now, by the way, when you want your window to change back, what do? Hit zoom what? Standard. Just hit zoom and then hit standard, it goes back to 10 by
Tom,
10.
why don't you just look at the table? That's what I do. I just look at the table and.
Or you can look at the table.
That's easy.
Yeah, you can look at the table. Yep. But it's easier this way, it's not easier this way.
Yeah, that one.
Because
yeah.
this way you have to graph it to find the point of intersection. I mean, you can kind of maybe do table to table and compare, you know what I mean? But in this case, I would use the graph. In this case, it probably is easier to use the table. Okay, but again, all of math is not knowing how to do it, it's also knowing which way is what? Quicker, which tool is quicker. Sometimes it's quicker to use the table, sometimes it's quicker to use the graph. You gotta know which one's quicker, okay? All right, next one. It just says,
So
wait,
is
let me see what
this
the instructions are for this, not on
Like
this.
16 and 17?
16 and 17. Whoa, hello, just a minute. Pause that, will you?
How do you pause it?